So I watched A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and it's one of the most interesting shows I have ever watched. Let me tell you why. It's based off a novel by the same name. The first episode introduced you to the case, and also introduced you to the character Pip Moby. She's gonna be the hero of the show, and she's gonna work on a murder case. It's the murder case of Andy Bell, a 17-year-old student, and she is believed to be murdered by Sal, who is also believed to have killed himself after admitting that he killed his girlfriend. But Pip is a character who believes in evidence or proof, and she doesn't believe that Sal killed his girlfriend, even though that all the signs are against him and everyone have moved on from the case. But that's Pip character. She is geeky, so she starts working on the case. She drew a board, she met Sal's younger brother, and she worked exactly like a detective. The first episode is introducing you to the characters, introducing you to the feelings of the characters, but in the end it revealed something, that Sal might not be the actual killer. And so the adventure begins, and episode 2 starts with an intro, with a song so fitting to Pip's character, and that's something about the show. It has a killer soundtrack, and the episode starts showing us that Pip is continuing her detective work and reveals that she can be arrogant, but that's the start of knowing something about her. She's gonna be so brave in this show. Something that I have talked about this show, it has a lot of comedy chops. It's very little, but it's so good. It doesn't interfere with the atmosphere of the show. It just slides. This show showed us that it can get so spooky. It literally felt like a horror movie. And we know something, that the killer is still there, and he knows that Pip is trying to find him. Pip is a character who analyzes things a lot, and just by her eyes she can tell you the story. Now Pip and Ravi are working on the case, and we get introduced to new characters, which is something that's gonna happen in some episodes. The thing about this episode, there are many stories about the case, especially about Andy, so finding out what actually happened to her is gonna be so tricky. That's why it got complicated. Episode 3 starts with a new intro, which is something about this show that I really like. Each episode has a new intro soundtrack, which is fitting for the atmosphere of the episode. That is really special. In this episode, Pip was so brave, but she risked herself a lot. She put herself into danger with drug dealers and rapists, and someone could have easily took advantage of her. But this girl has a good luck. We see that Pip and Ravi relationship is getting stronger, and we see that Pip will stop at nothing to get an evidence. This episode is legit stressful. Oh, and I forgot that her friends also started to work on the case with her, just because they love her. And in episode 4 is where things get lost. Pip and Ravi get their relationship stronger, and they do some crazy stuff. But the evidence is shocking because it relates to people that you won't expect. But then you get an evidence from someone who shows that Sal might be actually the real murderer after all, and that the case is actually solved. So Pip is working on something that might not actually be something worth working on, and it shows us that Pip will do only the thing that she sees right. But in the end, it leads us to another evidence. But this episode is the episode where everything that was built up was demolished, kinda. But episode 5 is where all crazy things happen. Crucial details were revealed, and this episode had the most emotions. But Pip got herself in the most dangerous situation because the murderer is after her, and she was smart about it, but the murderer was smarter, and in result she had to suffer. So she is forced to give up on the case. But right when she started giving up on the case and moving on, a small mistake revealed who is the murderer, and it was shocking. So when she went to confront the murderer and get the police on him, he was at the last minute confessing that he did not do anything. He was relating to Andy, and he did some stuff to Andy, so he was evil, but he isn't actually the real murderer. But the end is shocking, which raises a lot of questions. And now you may be wondering that episode 5 revealed who is the murderer, and in episode 6 he will be caught because it's the last episode, right? And well, this show is gonna be playing with you. The last episode, it's gonna blow your mind. So it starts and it's showing us that the murderer was caught, everything is over, some lives were ruined, but Pip did it. She solves the case until she realized that she didn't solve the case, because that murderer is actually the murderer of Sal. So Sal was a victim actually, but that murder didn't kill Andy. He actually did a lot of horrible stuff to Andy, and he was her teacher, but the only murder that he committed was killing Sal. So Pip, after digging on the case, she revealed who is the murderer of Andy Bell, and it's none other than Andy's sister. What's her motive? She was stupid, she acted ragely, but she's a psychopath too, and she actually buried his sister somewhere no one knows about, and she tried to kill Pip too. So knowing that the killer of Andy is the closest one to her, it sounds so hurtful. This episode showed a lot of emotions. To realize that Pip actually uncovered 2 murder cases that was thought to be a one murder case, and it revealed that Sal and Andy loved each other so much, which really hurt me. But this show got a happy ending, and I loved it, and I think that they hinted at another season, because the book is actually a book series, and we concluded with a beautiful love story. This show is a 10 out of 10, one of the best shows I have ever watched, and it was worth the wait.